So what is a rising sign? A rising sign represents your core energy. It represents how people perceive you when they meet you for the first time. It represents your public self. It represents like the mask you wear when you go out in public. It represents the energy that you exude to others. It represents the aura that surrounds you. So, Aries, you are ruled by the Roman god of war, Mars, and this is a cardinal fire sign. So, you come off to people as very independent, very opinionated sometimes, very straightforward, very fast thinking and fast moving. You come off as a leader. You come off as someone who is not about to play games. Someone who, means business. You say what you mean and you mean what you say. You are not the type of person to, like people playing with you, like when you first meet them. Like you give them a sense of you mean business and that you're serious. Like it's a certain seriousness that comes off. So people could be a little bit intimidated by Aries. You exude the energy of a go-getter. You exude the energy of the Roman god of war, which is Mars. So Mars energy is all about passion. This is fire element here. This is cardinal fire. So you're a great initiator. You're great at going first. You're great at getting things started. So if someone was needed to volunteer to do something thrill-seeking or to do something risky, it would be the Aries rising person who raised their hand first and said, hey, I'll shoot the gun first. I'll pet the snake first, I'll go first. Let me just get my turn over with, because it's not that you're fearless. A lot of times you're fearless, but you're just willing to take risk anyway. Even if you are scared, you're like, okay, it's not going to kill me. Like most of the time you feel like a lot of risks that you take won't kill you. So you're like, if I don't die, then I live, to fight another day or do something else, so you probably drive fast. You probably, do a lot of risky transactions or situations in your lifetime. And other people might be scared to death for the stuff that you do, but for you, like you're the type that might go bungee jumping or jump out of a damn airplane, and that's just like, in the rush of your lifetime, you're like, oh, when am I gonna do it again? And other people are just sitting on the sidelines like, oh my God, like I can't believe they did that. Like, oh my gosh. But for Aries rising, it's like you live for that. You live in the moment. You live in the now. You want to take advantage of what you have now, because for Aries rising, it's like all we have is right now. All you have is this moment. So if you don't do it now, you might not have an opportunity to do it later. So Aries rising people can be very impatient and impractical sometimes, but it's not always a bad thing, because if you were needed to make a life or death decision, an Aries person can act in the moment. They're if there is someone around them struggling, having a seizure, or someone having a heart attack, it's going to take that instinctive reaction of an Aries to just be like, oh, let me just do what I got to do to save this person, versus someone who might have like Cancer rising or Taurus rising, and they're going to be a little bit slower to react. They're just like, oh, like they might be in a state of shock. Other people in, situations might react in shock, but an Aries person, these are the people who probably some of them might be firefighters, because they're not going to think twice. They're just going to go in and do what they need to do. They could be like a part of the SWAT team, the people that say, hey, just cover me, just come in after me and I got this, or soldiers in a war, or it could just be someone who is just a very good leader and someone who doesn't mind taking charge and going first. This is a person who doesn't like to be told no and doesn't like to be told to wait. Like one of the worst things you could tell an Aries rising person is to wait. Like, wait for what? Like, I don't want to wait. I don't, this is the baby of the zodiac sign. So they don't want to wait. They don't like to wait. They don't see the value in waiting for something. Like, very impulsive. And like I said, that's a good thing and it's a bad thing sometimes, because if you move too quickly, sometimes you're not able to get a good or full perspective about a situation. So you might react immaturely to, a situation that did cause for you to take a little bit more time to figure it out, or to feel a person out. And also, if you're acting too quickly, you might end up injuring yourself, or hurting yourself. A lot of Aries rising people could end up like burning themselves while they're cooking or something. So to people who meet you for the first time, you have a very commanding spirit about yourself. You have a very authoritative personality about yourself. Like, when you walk into a room, people pick up on your Aries energy, like your leadership, your boss bitch or boss man type of energy. It just, they can see that. They can see that you like running shit, and that you like being first. Like, as a child, you could have been very competitive, especially if you have siblings. You could have been very competitive with your siblings or just with your peers. Like, you were the type of kid that, if you played cards, or if you played chess, or if you played checkers with someone and you lost, you were like, run it back. Like, let's do it again. Give me another opportunity because I'm supposed to be first. Like, you were the type of kid probably in preschool that, you ran in the line to be the line leader. Like, you were not trying to be the caboose. You did not want to come last. Like, you probably upset, when you have to wait in lines to do stuff. You probably upset now when you have to wait in traffic. You probably drive fast in traffic. You probably, have a sports car, or love the color red, or you're attracted to bright colors and things that move quickly. You might get in relationships quickly. You might quit jobs quickly. You might like guns. You might like going to the gun range. You might like going to the shooting range. You might like anything that takes a lot of adventure. You might like roller coasters. You might like, what else? Spicy foods. You might like reptiles or some shit like that. So you have Cancer on your fourth house. So your mom, or the person responsible for your nurturing, was very nurturing to you. Like, you had your emotional needs provided for with Cancer on the fourth house. And this is, again, the general energy of Aries rising. If you have Cancer on the fourth house and a Scorpio moon, then this is going to change. If you have Cancer in the fourth house and Chiron sitting in the fourth house, or a malefic sitting in the fourth house, like, all that energy could change. But in general, Aries rising with Cancer in the fourth house, you had a very nourishing upbringing. Mom did right by you. Mom was emotionally available for you. Your family nurtured you properly, and you have a bond and a commitment to your family. You probably, go back and spend time with your family often, or talk on the phone to your mother often, or, just some strong connection with your family with Cancer in the fourth house, generally speaking. Your sixth house, you have Virgo energy. Virgo is all about being very analytical, being very practical, paying attention to every little detail about something. And your sixth house is your house of daily routine and your house of health. So with Virgo on your sixth house, you could be very particular about your health, like your dieting. You could, be a pescatarian or a vegetarian or a vegan, or you could just like to work out and exercise on a daily basis, or you could just be the type of person who likes to plan and schedule your day out, even though like Aries rising usually don't like planning and stuff. But with Virgo in your sixth house, you could be a planner. You could be the person that, you like to plan your day, basically. It's probably not going to go further than you planning your day. You're probably not going to plan the months out, but you probably have a very strategic routine that you want to follow in your day when it comes to nourishing your physical body, or when it comes to your daily routine. Your 7th house, you have Libra. And Libra is all about cooperation. It's all about harmony. It's all about balance. And your 7th house is the house of relationships and marriage. So you could attract partners to you who help teach you about balancing your needs and the needs of other people, and you being more inclusive to your partner, and you being a little bit more, caring, because sometimes, you can be really self-centered as an Aries rising. And it's not always bad, because of course you need to worry about yourself. You need to focus on yourself. But if you're doing that too much, you can make your partner feel like, well, what am I in a relationship with you for if all the attention is going to be on you and all the focus is going to be on you? So with Libra in your 7th house, you need a partner who's able to understand your need for your individuality and your need to, develop yourself personally, but they're also going to help teach you balance of including them, of caring about what they need and caring about what their wishes are, and asking their opinions about situations as well. And you're going to teach them about being independent and how to be decisive and how to, react quickly, because the people you attract probably don't make quick decisions, and, they're not able to choose things. If you ask their opinion on something, it might take them forever to figure out just what they want for dinner. So in your 10th house, you have Capricorn, the goat. So the goat always reaches its goals. It always reaches to the top of the mountain. And you being this leader, you have very ambitious goals. You have to, like I said, look at where Mars is as well in your chart, and look at where your sun is, because your sun is going to show the area that you shine the most. Your Mars is going to show the passion behind you getting to your 10th house, to, the highest point of your chart, to the highest point in your career, to your public image, your reputation, and your legacy. But ultimately, you want your legacy to be that you're this successful either entrepreneur or CEO, or, the boss or leader of your company. You want your legacy to be that, you took the steps to reach your goal, and you were determined and steadfast, and that you were determined and steadfast, and you persevered, and you ultimately got everything that you set out to get as Aries rising. Pisces on the 12th house. So the 12th house is the house of the subconscious mind, the house of hidden enemies, and the house of secrets. So Pisces energy is about spirituality. It's about unconditional love. It's about connectivity. It's about understanding. So again, you could struggle with understanding other people, or understanding why you need to understand other people, understanding your own spiritual growth and your spiritual evolution. Or you could just hide that. You could hide your spirituality. You could hide your vulnerability. You could hide your emotions with Pisces in the 12th house. You could hide the way you feel, and because you might feel like it's a weakness for you to expose your feelings, for you to expose how you think, what your spiritual beliefs are. You could hide your spiritual beliefs because you might look at it as a weakness. You might look at it as, people are not going to see me as this leader if, I'm praying for people, or if I'm crying with them, or if I tell them that I meditate, or if I tell them that I pray, or if I tell them, whatever your spiritual beliefs. Pisces in the 12th house. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, and wisdom. And Neptune is the planet of delusion, illusion, fantasies, drugs. So sometimes some Aries risings could struggle with addictions. They could struggle with being addiction. They could struggle with addictions. They could struggle with being addicted to pornography. They could struggle with being addicted to food, being addicted to alcohol, being addicted to drugs, being addicted to just overindulging in television or anything. You have to be careful with overindulgence, and you have to look at where your Jupiter is and look at where your Neptune is, and that'll give you more details of, whether or not that's actually an issue for you. But all in all, Aries rising, you are the leader. You are the example of how to be yourself. You're not trying to put on a front for nobody. You don't care what people perceive you as. You are not going to be the type of person that have a social media that makes you look one way and then in your real life you're another way. Like, you're going to be who you are, and you're like, accept me as who I am, or you don't, but that's none of my business, is Aries rising. So keep being awesome. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust your learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust your intuition, and continue to react on your instincts, and continue to show others how to be great leaders and accept themselves fully, and accept their personalities fully, and express themselves for who they are. So that's all Aries risings. But if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Duh.